Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the scariest corners of the Pokédex.
Pikachu, dodge it quick!
Number 20, Gorebyss.
Gorebyss, the South Sea Pokémon.
When you think of the most frightening Pokémon imaginable, pink fish probably don't come to mind. But don't let Gorebyss fool you. This thing is a cold-blooded killer. It's said to be a cruel predator of the sea, and after reading its data, we understand why.
It is! It's time!
When it finally finds its prey, it sticks its nose right in their business. Literally. See, Gorebyss's long, needle-like snout isn't just for show. It's used to drink its meals from the inside out. Yeah, you're gonna want to think twice before swimming next to this thing.
He'll use that Gorebyss and Huntail and probably go extreme surfing.
Number 19, Honedge. A sentient sword Pokemon is as cool as it gets, but don't go rushing for your Pokeballs. Honedge comes with a pretty major caveat that you'll only find in the fine print of its dex entry. It kills almost everyone who tries to wield it. If you attempt to lift the blade yourself, the blue sash wraps around you and doesn't let go until it's drained all your life force. That's not too surprising when you learn that Honedge is actually made up of departed souls inhabiting swords. Apparently, they don't call it a ghost type for nothing.
It's said that Honedge is actually a spirit living inside a sword.
Number 18, Bramblin. Introduced in the 9th generation, Bramblin's unique design makes it an easy addition to your team, especially because it comes with a heartbreakingly scary story. Apparently, Bramblin are actually souls that failed to move on to the afterlife. They were blown around so much that they merged with dried grass, becoming Bramblin. No one could have expected such a small, innocent Pokémon to shoulder such a deceptively dark origin. Does that mean you're catching a human? If so, can they ever find peace again? These are the kind of questions we don't want to be asking when playing a Pokémon game.
You two, put it in the cage.
Yes,
Number 17, Palossand. Surely the sandcastle Pokémon is innocent, right? Alas, Pokémon has a knack for turning the most innocuous creatures into surprisingly terrifying campfire stories, and Palossand is no different. According to its info in the Pokédex, the ground type traps anyone and anything in its sand. And it's not for a playdate. After they're buried, Palossand treats itself to a full-course buffet in order to shore up its castle-like exterior. In fact, if you dig beneath it, you'll allegedly find the remains of Palossand's last meal. There's never been a better reason to stay off the beach. Number 16, Shiinotic. We can't say this enough, do not follow the pretty lights into the forest.
Shiinotic!
Although, if you're close enough to a Shiinotic to get their dex info, it's already too late. The mushroom Pokémon use their luminous moss to lure in unsuspecting prey. Once there, they spray spores that confuse people and eventually put them to sleep. What then, you ask? Shiinotic drains you for all the nutrients you're worth, of course.
Shiinotic drain energy, but they can also share energy.
It's one thing to feast on your meal, even Pokémon have to eat, but the disturbing lengths Shiinotic goes to catch its delicacies are definitely hard to stomach.
Nice.
Number 15, Drampa. When you see this dragon Pokémon, you have two options: become its friend or stay clear altogether, and under no circumstances should you antagonize Drampa's trainer. While most of its Pokédex entries paint it as a well-intentioned comrade, it's willing to defend its allies with extreme prejudice. For example, if anyone's mean to Drampa's companions, it will track down the offending parties and dole out retribution, either by setting them aflame or blowing them away with massive gales. Drampa may not look all that threatening, but clearly, it has a serious mean streak if you get on its bad side. Number 14, Malamar. Who needs hypnosis when you have Malamar? The Pokédex claims it has some of the strongest hypnotic abilities of any Pokémon ever. And, if the other entries are to be believed, Malamar doesn't always use them for good. The actual hypnosis is just a means to lure in its prey. Once they're in reach, Malamar's sharp tentacles come into play. It lets its digestive fluid handle the rest. The Dex also says that humans occasionally lose memories of their interactions with Malamar, but based on what we're reading, it doesn't sound like many trainers live to tell the tale anyway.
Malamar!
Number 13, Litwick, Lampent, and Chandelure. There's no warning or repel that can save you from Lampent. Once it's laid its eyes on you, you might as well say goodbye to your soul. The lamp Pokémon likes to hang around hospitals looking for those near the end of their lives. Then, when the moment of death comes, it swoops in to steal their very essence. If you think that's scary, its evolutionary line isn't any better. Litwick guides the departed to the spirit world, but also leeches their life energy. Chandelure, on the other hand, burns souls alive, leaving only husks behind. At least Lampent's in good company. Number 12, Froslass. This ice type is bound to make you shiver, and not just from the cold. Legends say Froslass is reborn from a woman who got lost in the snowy mountains. Now it tends to float around stalking fresh meat. Most of the time, that ends up being handsome men. Froslass will knock on their doors, freeze them solid, and then bring them back to its cave as frigid decorations. Kind of adds new meaning to the phrase, gotta catch 'em all. It's really no wonder this thing is half ghost type, it's practically a walking horror film. Number 11, Hypno. For anyone in need of some shut-eye, Hypno is the mon for you. Fair warning though, this psychic type will put you to bed so deeply, you'll never wake up again. After using its pendulum to lull enemies into a deep slumber, Hypno begins feasting on its prey's dreams. Sometimes it'll put people to sleep just because it's hungry and wants a quick bite. To really hammer it home, Hypno's Pokédex entries make it clear it doesn't show mercy to children either. It's only fitting that a Pokémon who wants to eat dreams is also a living nightmare. Number 10, Gengar. If you're traveling alone at night and you feel an icy chill overtake you, it most likely means Gengar's come out to play.
I don't get it. They're weird.
Most of the time, this Cheshire Cat-like Phantump is just a ghostly prankster, posing as a shadow to spook unsuspecting people, laying curses on trainers, and laughing at their victims' frights. However, it's been said that Gengar was once human, and it tries to create a traveling buddy by stealing the life of another human through its shadow. We're not sure how humans can become Pokémon, but we know this. Nowhere is safe from this ghoulish trickster, as it waits in the shadows for its next victim.
Gengar! They're saying it wasn't them.
Number 9, Cubone.
Oh, Pikachu!
Cubone has been identified as the lonely Pokémon due to its loner attitude, and its horrifically tragic backstory. It lost its mother at a young age, and so it wears her skull over its face in her memory. This means it never reveals its true appearance.
You poor little thing.
Unfortunately, the memories still sting, and so it cries its broken heart out mournfully, staining the skull with its tears. They are not only heart-wrenching, but the cries also attract Cubone's natural predator, Mandibuzz. Someone at Game Freak really loves to make Cubone's life miserable. It's believed that the only way this lonesome Pokémon can evolve is if it comes to terms with its mother's passing.
Get out! Leave this place! You shouldn't get close to them!
Number 8. Yveltal. While Xunius is a giver of life, Yveltal acts as a bringer of death.
Whoever disturbs the sleep of the cocoon of destruction will receive the judgment of fury!
It feeds off the life force of any living creature in its path, thanks to its devastating Oblivion Wing attack. At the end of its life cycle, it sucks up the life force of every creature on Earth, and then morphs back into a cocoon where it'll sleep for 1,000 years. It doesn't help that Yveltal may be based on several mythological avian symbols of death, or even modern birds of prey. You better hope you never see the day when this beast awakens, as it'll finish us off before it can finish it off, and eventually begin anew. Number 7. Mimikyu. Everybody loves Pikachu, so much so that this lonely little ghost fairy disguises itself as one in hopes of making friends. Unfortunately, its best efforts are in vain, as it occasionally breaks its own neck, then spends all night crying when it tries to fix it, or seek vengeance on the opponent who broke it. Nobody knows what this friendless ghoul really looks like, but we wouldn't try to find out if we were you. Not only does Mimikyu hate people trying to peek under its cloth, but it's been said that anyone who witnesses its true form will die a painful, traumatizing death. What a sad existence this little Pokémon lives. Number 6. Banette. The little ghost Pokémon Shuppet feeds off negative emotions like vengefulness and jealousy. Ironically, it'd have a whole buffet of those feelings with its evolved form, Banette.
That's one powerful smile. Banette just dropped the temperature in here 25 degrees.
Once upon a time, Banette was an old toy that a child threw away. Fueled by hatred, the doll became the twisted, vengeful marionette that we know today, searching for the child that cast it away to lay a powerful curse upon them.
Do they care?
Don't bet on it!
Banette definitely knows how to hold a grudge, but we can't blame it. How would you feel if you were left alone and unloved in a dumpster? The lesson here? Treat your possessions with more respect. It could just save your life, along with theirs.
Notice your hero's back where he belongs!
Now could you please forgive us?
Number 5. Kadabra. We've heard some outrageous stories of humans becoming Pokémon over the years, but this one is both disturbing and totally out there. A young trainer with psychic powers was helping to research extrasensory abilities, but he couldn't control it. As a result, one morning, he woke up transformed into a Kadabra, silver spoon and all. Baffling considering how it skipped over Abra and went straight for Kadabra, but a story like this is actually a little dark, risking being transformed into a Pokémon and eventually captured just because you dabbled too much into the supernatural at such a young age. So be mindful of the possibilities if you try and master ESP. Number 4. Yamask. Yamasks are born from the spirits of humans long dead and buried. The masks they carry are the last known remnants of their human life, their faces.
Yamask, the spirit's Pokémon.
Yamask is a ghost-type Pokémon that wanders the ruins of ancient civilizations.
Of course.
Tragically, each Yamask still has memories of its previous existence. Sometimes, it'll look at its old face and cry, mournfully looking into the dead eyes of what it once was. It's cruel enough forcing Cubone to wear its dead mother's skull, but to have a Pokémon literally carry a part of the life it lost, what kind of existence is that? Once it evolves into Cofagrigus, it most likely loses all those memories, and instead spends its time swallowing humans and turning them into mummies. Number 3. Parasect. As a paras, the 2 parasitic mushrooms on its back feast off the nutrients that the host bug eats, and even minorly control its actions.
Look here, these paras are planting their mushrooms everywhere.
By the time it evolves, the fungus has completely taken over the body and the mind, making the bug nothing more than a zombie. It can't even move without its engorged master. Much like its real-life counterparts, the mushrooms have medicinal properties. Too bad it can't help poor Parasect at this point. What's even worse is that the mushroom will leave its spores on Parasect's eggs, restarting the vicious cycle of watching a lively, cute little bug become a nutrient-sucking, mindless slave. Number 2. Phantump. According to legends, Phantump are made from old tree stumps possessed by the spirits of children who became hopelessly lost in the woods and died, inspired by the Kodama spirits of Japanese mythology. They can imitate the cries and screams of children, which they use to lead trainers astray in the forest until they can't find their way out. But they don't mean any harm, they just want some friendly company. Don't be alarmed if you run into these little ghouls, but be careful when treading through the woods, or you could end up becoming a ghostly cutie yourself. Don't ask us how. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Drifloon. Taking the number 1 spot is what legends have described as the signpost for wandering spirits.
All ready to go?
The roaming souls of both humans and Pokémon come together to form this cute little balloon ghost. If it were to somehow pop, the souls it contains would all spill out in a piercing screaming noise.
Drifloon, you psyche!
Drifloon may try to make friends with your child, but don't take your eyes off them, as the phantom balloon may try to carry them off into the afterlife, if they aren't too heavy. It's even worse when Drifloon evolves into Drifblim, where it's big enough to carry anything and may just let them drift off into the hereafter. What's the spookiest Pokédex entry you've ever stumbled across? Let us know in those comments below. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.